AI search is completely changing the way we do business as insurance agents. It's changing the way anybody does business as a business, but it's also changing the customer experience. It's changing how consumers are going to be buying things. And in today's video, I'm walking you through ChatGPT Agent, what you need to know as consumers shop for things like insurance, how they're collecting information, how they're getting to your website, how they're calling your phone number, all these different things. So let's jump over into the video as I do this walkthrough for you.
All right, everyone. Today we're looking at this new ChatGPT agent that everyone's talking about. You know my rule though here. What problems and frictions are we taking care of when using AI, automation, or human interaction? Solving for a problem, removing the friction, improving the customer experience and employee experience. And that's what ChatGPT, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you, for example, how I would potentially shop for homeowners insurance using the AI agent. And I want you to understand what information it's collecting. I want you to understand how potentially we need to be changing our websites, some of our social media, some of our YouTube channel. And AI is changing these things, but we need to have the right things in place to create the right customer experience and how we can use AI to help with these things. So let's talk about this. So recently, I had to file a claim. Like, actually, I had to file two claims. Haven't had claims in 25 years. And I had a home insurance claim and an auto insurance claim back to back. Going through that experience, though, I was really disappointed. Not really the adjuster. I was disappointed because of the claims experience, really. Like, for example, my agent didn't have an FAQ guide. They couldn't really answer a lot of my questions because the person wasn't licensed. Look, I got that they couldn't answer those questions because of that, because they didn't have these resources. And this is where AI could have helped with these resources. It could have simply taken, the customer questions we've gotten, and we could have used something like gamma.gamm.app to take that data, pull it in, build a presentation, have it where my team member had it, and kind of have it branded to help that customer or to help me to answer those questions before I had my questions. That's one way how I could have used AI, as this is searching and telling us, and it's going through and it's going to be analyzing how we're going to be shopping for insurance. But the reason I wanted to know this is because, we all know as insurance agents, claims have a big impact. My auto claim, even though it was a comprehensive claim, I'm sure it'll have a big impact on me. The home insurance claim, it was almost a $10,000 claim for a new air conditioning unit because my house got hit by lightning. I had to pay my deductible and all that. But like when I went through this claim, do I need to pay the contractor the deductible, or are you going to take the deductible out of what I owe you? Like, these kinds of things weren't even answered to the process. And through this customer process, we really need to be using AI to have these resources built internally. Even through the endless customer strategy that I teach every day, is we need to be answering these questions even before the customer has them. We need to make sure that our sales team has the content in their hands to share with the customer ahead of time, addressing pricing before it comes up. So I just want to talk about that real quick as we're waiting on this to come back, as the agent is analyzing things. And it should be ready here just in a second. So let's see where it's processing. Typically, too, it would process and it would show us usually right here. But for some reason on the agent, it's not doing that today. Well, here we go, though. So as you can see, it's going through and it's, it's going through and looking at, does it cover lightning damage, all these different things. And so one of the reasons I want you to see this is, let's just say this. Say you're a local agency in Covington, Georgia. Let's just use that as an example. And you saw, does my home cover lightning damage, and all these things. But localizing your content wherever you're at can play a very big important role. Best home insurance in Covington, Georgia. You kind of see where I'm getting at here. And using AI to understand in your database. Look, I'm not saying use personal data. What I am saying, using things like zip code, coverage amounts, the questions you're getting asked. Using those things and working with your AI to get those questions answered. Having calculators built on your website, self-assessment tools, and even going through the AI and having AI help you build this. And I've done this in another video on our YouTube channel that I'll walk you through how to use what tools to build these different things. Look, these tools are changing every day, but the framework's not that we definitely need these things because you continue to see, is lightning damage covered by insurance? But we need to be more specific. You see, this is the thing with AI. There is a bunch of crap content, and AI is always going to provide what's called top of funnel content. But we need to be focused on bottom of the funnel. We need to be focused on specifics. For example, if you're an insurance agency in Covington, Georgia, you should be able to look at your data and you should be able to know roughly what your customers are paying for home insurance. And you can use that data in your Google My Business profile. When you answer questions, you can use it in blogs, you can use it in videos, your Instagram, your Facebook, getting very specific. So like when someone like me has a problem and they start searching for home insurance, they get to start getting very detailed answers. That tells artificial intelligence searches, that tells Google search, it tells the customer. It's winning in every area. So it's very important to pay attention to those things. But as this AI agent continues to work, you can even see, key factors to consider when changing your home insurance in Covington, Georgia. Like, you don't have to localize it that much. You can still write a really good article. I'm just a big fan of using your data, different zip codes and things like that to really localize a lot of this content. So when people are searching for it, they can find it. When they may have an AI agent like this searching for it, it can find relevance there. That plays a very important role. And if you're not sure about what, for example, in a situation like what key factors to think about, check your CRM, ask your CRM for data. All these different CRMs now have AI tools built in that you can use. And you see, now it's kind of given me this background for my different home insurance options. And we can kind of start to see here impacts on my premiums and things like this. And so you can kind of start to see as you start to answer a lot of these questions in your agency that your team has access to, that your customers have access to in your learning center, you start to see that not having this gated content becomes your new lead magnet. But you've got to have it out there the right way. Home insurance costs in Georgia. It's giving me all this information, right? Well, that's fine, I know, but I need an actual company. So let's ask it. So we're asking for company recommendations as we go through this. And as I said, this the AI agent developed so you can kind of see there, hey, it didn't really go far enough. Remember, today's the worst it's going to be, but we need to be prepared. Customers are going to start using services like this. I'm sure Google is going to have their own soon. I'm sure that other services are going to have their own. Perplexity's basically got their own agent like this, Comment, and I'll do a walkthrough on this when I get access to Comment. But I wanted you to understand when we go through this, how people are going to start searching for insurance. And you'll see here, the recommendations is given me. It's all major companies. So having pieces that compare some of these national companies, what people need to know when looking at reviewing them. Now it's going through and it's looking at these local brokerages for me. Maybe it's a State Farm, maybe it's an Allstate, maybe it's an independent agent. Having a piece of article on your website that talks about the difference between an independent insurance agent and a captive agent locally that it's going to find in a situation like this. And as it continues to find it, continue to recommend you. But your customers can continue to find this type of content you're putting out here. And look, you may not be able to put a dollar amount on this type of content today, maybe tomorrow, but it's just going to continue to help you build your brand. It's going to help you really to drive in customers. But It's going to help you continue to drive the right customer experience. So we're going to sit here and we're going to wait as it goes through this. And it's doing this research on these different insurance agencies. And you can start to see Knight and Tab, the best insurance, probably how it's trying to SEO its website or something like that. But, I want real things here. And if it was me, I definitely would have a video on my YouTube channel, my socials. I would have an article on my website that talks about an independent insurance agent versus a captive agent, maybe in Covington, Georgia. How to pick the best home insurance agent in Covington, Georgia, and all these different things. You can kind of see right here how everybody's going that standard search engine optimization with how they're doing keyword stuffing and their titles and all this stuff. And as it's doing all this different research and scanning these sites, you see as a consumer, I'm not really seeing anything that's on this website because the AI agent is skimming everything. I'm just seeing the titles as it's doing all that. Then it's bringing back basically what it wants me to see. But this is kind of where a lot of search is going to be going in the future. Are we there yet? No, we're not. But like you can start to see though, as it starts to go through some websites, hey, pricing calculators, self-assessment tools, you start to see how important some of these things play. And while we spend so much time building them, maybe connected to a Better Business Bureau rating, connected to a chamber, the reviews on your website. You see, these are all small little pieces of the puzzle that when they come together, they create a pretty large pie. So it's very important that you've got a strategy on reviews and building trust signals through different links and different sites. Maybe it's a Rotary Club, maybe it's a Lions Club. Things that build trust, like BBB. Maybe you're a member of the Independent Insurance Association of Georgia, and these different things as it goes through and does this research. And so as you get into the world of search and really customer experience, these are all things we need to be thinking about as we go through and we look at this new ChatGPT agent. Remember, if you're in the private community, I'll be doing a standard operating procedure as well on how potentially I might use this and some other ones. Maybe even some prompts that your customers may be using when they search for things like this to kind of help you show up better in search and things like that. So you can definitely get that in the group. If you wanted to, in the group, you can also reach out to me. I'd be happy to have a conversation about also working with you on your marketing, as that's literally all we do every day inside of our insurance agency and our marketing agency of Written Nature Business. So as it continues to collect these things, it's looking at addresses. It's looking at all these different companies. You kind of see a lot of these companies that it keeps pulling up seem to be the same. And it's probably because of the amount of their reviews. You see, it's even putting in the name. It's collecting all the data about that particular company. And this is why brand awareness is so important, like doing those community events, having your name up there, press releases, all these different things. So let's kind of see what it can do. Also, once it's done with this, really what I want to ask it is, hey, let's see if we can go ahead and put this in here. You see, it went ahead and it came back. So we've got the name of the companies. You see it stopped. So let's go back and finish this up right here. And you actually see that it's working on two different computers at once. So I'm searching for local insurance agencies here. While that's going on, I'm also trying to figure out home insurance pricing here. in Covington, Georgia. And look, I hear people say all the time, I don't want customers that are shopping on price. Let's be clear here. I don't care if you've got $1 million or $1. Price is still coming into your mind, and we still need to address it on our websites, on our socials, on YouTube. Does this mean you should tell a customer that, hey, your home insurance is going to be $20? No. But what it does mean, hey, what do they impact? What impact do they have over their pricing? Can they get potentially some kind of range on pricing? They're looking for these ideas when they look to work with a company, because when they see these things, it signals trust in them. So we need to be talking about these things. Because look, I don't care what happened, but at some point something happens where someone goes from a price-driven to a value-driven customer. Maybe it was a claim like me who had back-to-back claims, and my agent couldn't answer a lot of the questions, and it was frustrating. And maybe then it was then when I realized that, hey, there's more to this than price. Or it could be that it took my agent 6 months to get something corrected where I was being overcharged for 6 months. You see, it depends what the friction is, but we need to make sure we remove these frictions from our agency so these things aren't motivating someone else to shop. They understand we are the best option for them because we're doing the work for them as independent insurance agents. That we're there to represent them. We're there to help them through the claim and understanding that we have these things in front of them when they need them. And so it's important to understand all of this. When you're looking through all this, and instead it continues to do this, we could go to probably a third computer here and say, but let's just try that. Well, see, it's already come back right here. And you'll see now it's giving me phone numbers. Now, the only thing I would say here, catcher, is giving me a phone number. Like it's giving me no email. It hasn't given me their website. So it's only giving me their phone number. What does this tell me? Dude, it's important that you got somebody on the phone here. It's telling me all these different agencies here in Covington that I can that are basically being recommended. Now, as I get into the overview, it tells me what the state averages are according to Money Geek. And what if you had an even more detailed here based on Covington because you were using your own data? Can you imagine how you might be showing up here based on that? Or how you had a piece of content on choosing the right insurance agent in Covington, Georgia? You start to see all these different things here. But this is how this new ChatGPT AI agent, and I said I'll be doing an example of a comment when I get access to it. But I wanted to show you how people are using this when they search for insurance and how you may not get an email address. You may not get something like that. They're not even going to your website. They might just be directly calling you. So having your phone system set up the right way, maybe you do have an AI phone system answering service that helps you grab every call. But now you see how getting to every call is going to be very important. Having the right experience when they call that number. Having dedicated numbers like this, maybe for different cities, maybe something else you want to take a look at. But you can see all this data here as a customer now where it's done all this research for me. And guess what? I still have not gone to a single website to look for insurance, which means I don't have the click. I don't have the customer's contact information. So this is why having a dedicated content manager, a department to help you is going to play such a vital role as we get into AI. As you can see, those click the calls are going to be just more important than maybe forms filled out. And look, we still got 200 to 300 forms filled out on our website every month. But this is where we're headed as a consumer. This is where we're headed for companies. So you need to be aware of this. And so I hope this is giving everybody kind of a good explanation, a way of how you could use ChatGPT AI agent to search for insurance, or how your customers are searching for insurance. Let's even ask it, even though this is getting kind of borderline here, let's just see if it gives us an answer here about if there's any agents that they don't recommend. And it may give us an answer pretty quickly here. I don't know. It did, didn't it? So that's good to know there. So I just wanted to do this video today, though, and show you exactly how you should be using this to help you understand what the customer journey is going to look like in the future.
I hope this walkthrough today has been valuable for you. Look, make sure to subscribe, share, and like the channel below. Comment. Let us know what you would like to see here on the YouTube channel when it comes to artificial intelligence for insurance agents. If you're not part of our community, go ahead and join it, because I'll be putting some of the standard operating procedures and some of the frameworks that you can use to make sure that more buyers are finding you online. I'm Chris with Niche Your Business. Thank you.